Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Today we will discuss about universalization of elementary education. This lecture is meant for class 11th. My dear students, uh, this universalization of elementary education means making education available to all children in the age group of 16 to 14 or in the classes first to 8th. Dear students, opportunities for this education may be provided through formal or non-formal means of education. It uh, uh, it signifies that the education is for all and not for selected few. The concept of in this universalization of elementary education, uh, it signifies, it connotes that education is the birthright of uh, every child, irrespective of creed, color, caste, region, etc. Dear students, this also means that all children of the country belonging to rich or poor, living in towns or in rural areas and in places which are acceptable uh, or accessible with the difficulty, have to be provided with the facilities of elementary education. My dear students, uh, universalization of elementary education means free education up to elementary primary stage. In developed and in advanced countries, free education means no fees, what I should say, free books, free stationery, free midday meal, free school transport. But in developing countries like India, it has not been possible to provide all these facilities to children free of cost. Here, free education means education free of tuition fee. Other facilities on the select, what I should say, the selective basis are also what I should say options. My dear students, this elementary education uh, has lot of advantages in different countries, in different states, in different cultures. My dear students, this elementary education is a tool to lead the kind of development revolutionaries in different countries, because this very particular education is actually the sort of what I should say, motivation to denunciate the illiteracy, uh, to what I should say, to finish the what I should say, illiterate culture in different societies, in different cultures. There are different scholars who has reported about this primary education, or I should say the elementary education. Their students, there is the one of the educational thinker, namely J.P. Naik, who said that this elementary education is basically a kind of tool for economic development, for political development, for social development, for the different kind of developments. This is actually one of the tool and technique. This is a kind of sort of instrument for the development of any country. Similarly, there is the uh, this Dadabai Nehruji, who also talked about this primary education. He has also put citrus on this very particular education. According to this very philosopher, he reported that this education has created uh, the sort of literate atmosphere, literate environment in different countries. There is the one of the philosopher, one of the educationists, namely Gandhiji, who also put citrus on the primary and elementary education. Dear students, S.N. Mukherjee has also uh, uh, put some and proceeded some statements in favor of this elementary and this primary education. Dear students, there are other thinkers as well who has given uh, citrus on this very particular education. Like different commissions are there. Sargent report is there. Kothari commission is there. Uh, Mudliar commission is there. Other commissions as well who has given some kind of proceedings about this very particular education. My dear students, this education here in India uh, put a lot of stress after um, the independence, because this sort of education was the key, uh, what I should say, need for the countries, even I should say in India, especially because before independence there had been the, what I should say, the kind of weaknesses prevailing in this system of education. Though after independence it became necessary for society's cultures to what I should say, to uplift the this sort of education, because it was the kind of pull factor for the developments of the countries. Dear students, the government of India, in our constitution there is Article 45, who is this Article 45 meant for this what I should say, the primary education. uh, According to this very particular article, this primary education should be available to all children, irrespective of creed, color, caste, religion, etc. And these students, they are different. What I should say, the problems that are there in this primary system, or elementary system of education in our country. Like basically, I should say, being the what I should say, the part of this very education being the part of this very what I should say, the system. I myself experienced a lot of weaknesses. Like there is the poverty, that is the root cause of this very problem, that the sort of education is not accessible because illiteracy of the parents matters a lot. Similarly, the lack of exposure also is one of the what I should say, what are the one of the aspect and dimension that that is the cause of this very uh, weakness that is prevailing in the country. Distant, I should say that this the what I should say, the parents who are not wishing that their children should be in their schools. Early marriages are there. Uh, Poverty, once the parents are poor, the families are poor, the children are not in a position to take their admissions in different schools. Though these parents are just trying to um, uh, search the kind of works, jobs, any kind of labor work, etc., so that they may earn the for their livelihood. That is why these are some things. These are some complications that are prevailing in our society, in our cultures, in our countries. Dear students, in the present, in the future lessons, in the next presentation, we will talk about the what I should say, we'll talk about some kind of what I should say, the abstruses that are prevailing here. Uh, that this sort of education being the so kind of facilities that are there, but still we are lagging, or we are lacking the this the kind of what I should say, the direction to this very education. And in our country, particularly, we will see the other dimensions that are of this universalization of elementary education and other things that are necessary to discuss, inshallah, in present, in the future. And what I should say, in the next presentation and lectures, we will talk about some other dimensions that are uh, that comes under the concept of this universalization of elementary education as well. Thank you.